The moment to shine, could they make it? No, they were sorted out by Luka Modric. Coughing, choking, a case of emphysema. Such was the story for Argentina. Okay, well, I want to start by saying that a lot of people thought I was crazy. I rip on this team not because, for the sake of ripping on them, but because when I sense a bad vibe of a team entering a tournament, I stick to it. If I see something that looks like an absolute train wreck waiting to happen, laser point focus on it. So this match, honestly, for the first half, I thought Argentina were okay. They limited Croatia in a way that I did not think they would, because I thought that Croatia would present themselves more of an offensive threat than Iceland did, and, well, they did later on, but I'll get to that in a moment. But for most of the first half, it was pinned into Croatia's own side of the field, and Argentina was pressing them. They were very patient on the ball. They were building up. You saw Aguero making a nice, really decent runs on the left-hand flank. Argentina looked decent, and it looked a matter of time before some kind of breakthrough happened. Croatia only had a couple of chances here and there. The only really big opportunity for Croatia in the first half came through the counter through Rebic when he skied it high. It seems to be a trend of this World Cup. For some reason, players, they get right in front of goal, they feel the need to boot it up as if they're taking an American football field goal. But other than that, I didn't see very many differences between this game and the Iceland game, which then brings us to the second half. We knew that a draw here would help Croatia's case more than more than Argentina's. But if there was any team that looked like scoring first, it was Argentina. And then Willy Caballero. If I'm not mistaken, Caballero means what? Cowboy in Spanish? Caballo means horse, or is it bronco? I'm not sure. But anyway, Willy Caballero invoking his inner Robert Greene for England in the 2010 World Cup. Sorry if that gives any of my audience PTSD. And to my American audience. But that was a punch in the gut for Argentina, because not just because of the fact that they went behind and they had a game to chase, but the manner in which it happened, a completely unnecessary goal to give away, a huge gaffe by Caballero, the goalkeeper for Argentina, that gifted Croatia the 1-0 lead. And then from that moment on, we knew that Argentina played a high line against Iceland, and it didn't really present very much of a problem for them against Iceland because it's Iceland. But when you go up against this Croatian team that has one of the best midfields in the world, it's suicidal. And then Argentina didn't have any choice but to throw caution to the wind. They couldn't demonstrate that same patience on the ball and keep that slow forward motion moving. And then when Croatia scored the second through Luka Modric, to Argentina's credit, I don't think there was much they could have done about that. That was absolute. It was a banger. It was a banger. We've seen so many bangers this World Cup. And then for Luka to make that run, it's one of the best goals of the tournament already. We know Luka Modric is a world-class player, Real Madrid star. So I actually don't fault Argentina for that, but I really do fault them for the first goal and the third goal. And let's get to the third goal. Fast forward to the corner kick. Stoppage time. 91st minute, 92nd minute for Argentina. They get a corner. Croatia clears it out well, runs on the counter, 3-on-1 with the goalkeeper, pretty much toying with him at that point. We saw them make 3 or 4 final touches in the box before it was sunk in for the third through Rakitic. And I pointed this out on Twitter. Ivan Rakitic was actually talking with Croatian manager Zlatko Danic, I don't know how to pronounce his name, about how to stop Messi. He's a Barcelona teammate with Messi. They were the coach and player having this conversation a few days ago. They were trying to figure out how to neutralize this guy. They did a decent job of it today, but the problem is Messi doesn't have any support. He doesn't have any support. And that leads me to the lineup selection by Sampaoli. Because this loss is twofold. It's on the rest of the supporting cast, and it's on Jorge Sampaoli's stubbornness to stick to a specific lineup where Javier Mascherano, a 35-year-old, is your creative defensive midfielder. Now, I have all the respect in the world for Javier Mascherano, what he's done for this team. I thought, other than Messi, he was Argentina's best player in the previous World Cup. He made a game-saving tackle in the semifinal against the Netherlands in 2014. Brilliant performance in that tournament. But he's past it. And when you put him as your defensive mid, he's responsible for the bulk of creativity coming in the midfield. How do you expect to come up against a midfield of Modric and Rakitic, consistently one of the best midfields in the world for any national team? And I said since December that I did not have Argentina coming out of this group. And then last night and a little bit earlier today before this match, I started to doubt myself. I said, you know what? Maybe they'll squeeze this one out because they need to. Maybe Croatia will show them a little bit too much respect. And then I saw the lineups before the match started. I saw Sampaoli starting 11, and I did a double take. I was like, huh? It's not just Mascherano in midfield. That's not the main problem. How do you not bring Dybala on? This guy, Lionel Messi, he can't do it by himself. He can't do this by himself. You say, well, Ronaldo, CR7 scored a hat trick against Spain. But here's the thing. Portugal won the European Championship while he was injured on the sidelines. You're going to tell me that CR7 doesn't have a stronger supporting cast than Messi does? CR7 went off the pitch in the final of Euro 2016, injured, and the rest of his team stepped up. They stepped up. They beat the host nation, France, in the final. Lord Eder memes galore. Though that meme will live on forever. But this guy, Sampaoli, they lost this game not just because Messi doesn't have a strong supporting cast, but they lost this game because you have a manager who had all of the warning signs on the wall. And this is where I'm going to get really ugly. You had a manager who had all the warning signs on the wall in the build-up to this tournament. The 6-1 versus Spain. The 4-2 against Nigeria. And his reluctance, his stubbornness to not change a damn thing. And this is what happened. I wonder if he regrets leaving Sevilla. It's a far cry from the 2015 Chilean team that won the 2015 Copa America. Maybe this was just a task too tall for Jorge Sampaoli. Because I refuse to believe Jorge Sampaoli is a shit manager. He's from that Marcelo Bielsa class. He was a protege of Marcelo Bielsa, one of the greatest South American managers of all time. But I think what happened was he saw the issues, the warning signals heading into this tournament, and he willfully chose to brush them under the rug. And I'm standing back and I'm watching. I said, guys, you don't get your shit together, you're going to crash out of this tournament. And here's the thing. Yes, Argentina can still advance. If what has to happen is this, points-wise, mathematically. They have to hope that the Nigeria-Iceland match tomorrow either ends in a draw or Nigeria wins. And then they have to beat Nigeria next week. But if Iceland wins, they have to rack up the score on Nigeria. And yeah, it becomes far more daunting. So yes, can Argentina somehow turn this around? I suppose so, but they look broken. After Caballero's mistake, they looked broken. Not just tactically, but in spirit, they were dismantled. Dismantled. I don't know if they're gonna. You know what? Even if we get a draw tomorrow, or even if Nigeria wins against Iceland, Are we so sure these guys are going to beat Nigeria? I'll tell you what, if Argentina finds a way to advance from this group and they go on to win the World Cup, that's the biggest turnaround in footballing history. To happen in a single summer, that's the biggest turnaround. Do they still control their own fate? Yes and no. They have to beat Nigeria, but they also have to hope that Iceland does not beat Nigeria tomorrow. So, and even then it's not a guarantee, because Iceland's playing an already qualified Croatia in the final match day. But I said before, and I'll say it again, I said these guys were flops unless they turn it around spectacularly. And even if they do, I'm not going to apologize, because look what they did here. They're not giving me a reason to suspect they're going to turn this around. They came into this tournament, I said they were going to draw with Iceland. I did not know I thought they were going to lose this match. I thought it was going to be 2-1. They lose 3-0. All 3 goals coming in the second half. I said these guys, they who must not be named. And I don't want to hear anyone blame this on Messi. I feel so sorry for Argentine fans, for Argentina the country. I feel so bad for Lionel Messi. Because whenever they lose, he gets blamed for everything. Even by his own media, he gets blamed. But these guys, Messi plus 10 homeless guys, Clowns FC, Aquafina, the Water Boys. I call them the Water Boys because they might as well be water boys. They might as well be serving water on the sidelines to real teams. Aquafina, baby. They who must not be named. The artists formerly known as Argentina. I love Argentina. Next to Egypt and the USA, this is my team. So this just makes me sick. I wanted them to prove me wrong. I wanted to eat crow. But now they're going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to do that. They're still alive, but they're on life support. Clowns FC, they who must not be named.